and gentlemen, I promised you episode 8, and you always know I deliver on my promises. Welcome to episode ocho, that is 8 in Spanish, to the Mouth of the South podcast, here live, here in your very own North Carolina, Western North Carolina mountains. You're not getting a town name because you don't need to know where I live. That's too much information. But is what is not too much is here right now in the building, in the place to be. We are here dropping this episode, and ladies and gentlemen, we got a very special guest in the house tonight. He is called the man of many names. He's the podcast machine. He's part of the Black Hearts, deep in the heart of wrestling, the S&M podcast. He's in the LFC podcast, LFC network. This man's got his hands in absolutely everything in the social media. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from the big city, the big apple of New York, my man, Michael Larkin. Michael, welcome to the show.
It is a pleasure to be on the show, Corey. I love the intro and I appreciate you wholeheartedly asking me to do this. I look forward to shooting the breeze like you and I only do. I appreciate you, man.
No problem. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, this show is always revolved around the guest, and I gave him a small list of his accolades, but this man has so much more to give. So, Michael, I'm gonna let you take it away and let people give people know who you are.
Of course. So my name is Michael Larkin. I'm from Long Island, New York. Uh, 90s baby, man. Born in 92, EST 92, millennial. Millennial as a part of the last generation to really, grow up without the social medias that we see now. I think our biggest thing was probably MySpace at the time. Grew up on Long Island, really going through a lot of great things of just exploring and really finding myself to where I would want to go. I've always wanted to do something, and I've always said this about myself. I wanted to do something where I can either encourage people, help people, or really resonate with people. My parents were in radio for over, 20 plus years at one of the local radio stations on Long Island, BLI. So I knew it was something I wanted to get into as far as what I'm doing now with podcasting, much like Corey mentioned. But I think for me, I was just a normal nerdy kid from Long Island that loved pop culture, loved professional wrestling. I still remember going to my first ever wrestling show at the Continental Airlines Arena, as it was at the time, seeing Eric Bischoff as the GM of Raw. I was at that one, and of course, the Madison Square Garden where Kane unmasked. I was hooked. And then when you look at pop culture stuff, we're kids that grew up with the TRL era, the 106 and Park era on BET, Rap City in the Basement. So I knew if I was going to do something or who I am and what I am, give me pop culture, give me wrestling, and I'm happy in the company that I keep. So I'm pretty much a simple dude. Just give me some good things, give me some great people, and I'm happy. So I was just a kid that went with the flow, and I got to do a lot of pretty cool things along the way.
And ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who don't know, like, yes, this man loves his pop culture. He loves the real world road rules. He loves the flavor of love. He loves the real chance of love. He loves the flavor of New York. Even though that's not the name of the show, this man knows everything pop culture. This man loves some Key Sweat, and this man loves Ray J. Well, he don't love Ray J
No,
anymore.
not that,
No,
not that
we don't.
much.
We don't like Ray J that much anymore. But this man has literally lived and breathed the pop culture. And that's pretty much what we're going to do. We're going to get into some pop culture, get into some wrestling, get into some fun stuff with Michael Larkin here today. So, trading off in and going into the pop culture, Michael, what would you say is your favorite like thing about the pop culture, about the nostalgia of the 90s, early 2000s as us growing up and coming into that era?
Well, we actually had to communicate with people, number one, but also number two, I think just the overall simplicity of just like it's the simple things like going out and buying a CD, having that CD in your hand, coming home after school, watching said countdown shows, and just really the nostalgia of the innocence and just going around playing with friends. Like we see all these clips on Instagram and so many different social media platforms of like the bikes outside, and you knew what time it is when your friends were coming over. I mean, even the simplest things like when the first original PlayStation came out, PlayStation 2, and wanting CDs and stuff, people would camp out all night just so they could be the first to really buy and really be a part of that great moment that it would be in time. But I also think also the with the nostalgia thing, it's just video games. It's just Everything. I think everything was so simple, but I mean, technology now has advanced, which is cool. But I think a lot of this younger generation doesn't realize the tact, doesn't realize everything that goes into what we grew up with. And I think a lot of people with today's social and political climate is they feel that they can say what they just want to say without any consequences. But as a kid, through our parents or everything, we had consequences for our actions. We were raised with tact, and we were raised with a lot of the great surroundings that helped us really socially within our circles and everything around us.
Yeah, like kids today does not understand about the MySpace pages and having a top 8 friends list, and when you didn't really associate or be friends with that person, you just take them off the list and put another one there. And now we're
Yep.
growing in the age of MySpace and having your own music catalog to choose from, and people can visit your page, and all of it back in the day was about how cool the MySpace page was. We definitely took MySpace for granted. We should have stayed on MySpace instead of going to Facebook, honestly, in my personal opinion, because Tom was there for us. He was our
Oh,
first Facebook friend.
yes, Tom was our first Facebook friend. But to go on to your point too, I think it's so keen with what you mentioned there with how we got into Facebook even before MySpace. I think a lot of people don't even realize like we use the internet as like a luxury. It wasn't a necessity for us. We weren't always looking at our phones. Like we had flip phones where we didn't get the internet like we did, but we could get some ringtones. I remember going onto the websites for free downloaded ringtones. It'd be like, you buy this and it's a 30-second clip or it's something's $1.29. They don't have the luxury of the ringtones. Our phones were our luxury. It wasn't a necessity like kids are nowadays because they don't know how to function without the phone. I remember I even sent this to you. For example, we'll use a music video. Brandy's Full Moon. Like when Brandy came out with that and she's going to like the house party and everybody's dancing and everybody's having a good time. Clubs or house parties don't look like that anymore. Everybody's on their phone just chilling and vibing. It's like get out and dance, interact, coerce with one another. Nobody does that anymore. Nobody wants to have that face to face conversation or the interaction. Everything is phone and technologically generated pretty much now.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, and to your point, like the house parties back in the day were some of the best times of our life. Definitely nothing to film, nothing to record. You just got out there, you danced a little, you had your food, you had your fun. No drama. No
Nope.
drama at all. I mean, you might have a little bit here and there, but nothing to the extreme of what it is nowadays. And to your point, yes, like the kids today treat it as a necessity and not a luxury. Because I remember back in the day, having my Alcatel flip phone, and I know I just took people back 20 years with the Alcatel and Altel, which is no longer here anymore. But just having a flip phone and getting taken away, or just having it, not to use in school and just use it for the weekends, but don't you dare use those minutes overtime and charge on the phone bill that you were on your parents' phone plan, or you got the ass whooping of a lifetime.
Yep, I was one of those who had used it over that. My dad used to get so mad at me for that, and just buying the ringtones because yes, they were only $1.29. He's like, "But do you realize how much that adds up with all the ringtones that you buy?" I'm like, "I know, but I'm just saying." And I mean, it's so funny that we were talking about this now because, like you mentioned, Alto. I had the Motorola, the Hello Moto. For those that remember those commercials, like Hello Moto and all those stuff with like the edges and all that. Like stuff like that doesn't exist anymore. Like we had the old school flip phones. This is how we communicated. I mean, look at the video game side of things. Like I had NBA Ballers Phenom when I was a kid, looking at the two-way to go to different tournaments in the season mode and the story mode of that game. That's how it was. It was the simpler times.
Simpler times indeed. The better of times, if you ask me, because now
Yep.
with the way things are progressing, and now Sony and PlayStation saying by 2028 disc will no longer be available to buy, everything's going digital. Hell, I remember going to GameStop. And now I know it ain't been that long since GameStop's been around, but they're almost as obsolete as Toys R Us or Circuit City or Radio Shack. And I know I'm making people feel really hella old right now, but just the necessity and the simple things of life, especially no kids today will never know about hearing the ringtones on the TV as a commercial, and you just type in the number and you purchase it. But yeah, them additional charges and fees, boy, they do add up.
I had this conversation with Steve, my co-host on the Steve and Mike show. Like, he's like, remember when they were like, you had to text 55955 for like Pretty Ricky on the hotline, or just anything. Give me some like Avant, Making Good Love, or anything. Like, you'd have those songs, or just in general, like buying those, like you mentioned, getting it straight off your TV. I even equated to the malls. I was having this conversation with my mom the other day because we were going in the mall to get some stuff. And I'm like, you do realize with how everything is now, where everybody just orders off Amazon and everybody does everything online now, you hardly see a lot of people in the mall. Like, the mall was the spot, the food courts, and just going into Hot Topic, going into this place and shopping and finding yourself Foot Locker even. Nobody really has that same feel of just going to the mall anymore. It's just like, hey, if I need to go to the mall, I'll do this and then I'm out. The mall was the spot. No longer, because of everything being, like you mentioned, online and technological and digital.
Yeah, and the mall, not only the mall,
Yeah.
but the skating rinks, the
Yes.
arcades,
Yep.
like just the just the like just the simplicity of all, like going to the book fair and reading so many books that you got a pizza party at Pizza Hut.
Yep.
Like, like I don't think the kids will be like, man, that sounds like a blast.
It
But
was.
yeah, it was like nobody will understand. Like before everything became corporate and adult looking, McDonald's was actually a fun place to be. Taco Bell was actually a fun place to be. Pizza Hut had arcade games in it at one point. Like I know in my hometown, we had Giovanni's. They had a arcade and they had the best pizza in town. We had Pizza Inn, again, another staple. It had pizza and arcade games and music and Shoney's and etc. etc. People just don't know what good fun we had. But now all that stuff becoming obsolete and people can't seem to, find the nostalgia in it like they used to. But it's not an end of a well, it actually is an end of an era, and it's an era that thank God that me and you and a lot of people our age got to see and live through. But as we get older and we go through these new times in life, I want to switch gears here. Now, me and you, we're both in our early the mid 30s, just about. So, looking on the advances in life right now, how do you feel like things are going to be going forward?
I think it's just going to be more with the technological stuff, the digital media. I think we're going to become so accustomed to just doing things where it's in front of us instead of going out. It's almost going to be like we're like hermit crabs, where we could just do everything within the press of a button. It sounds cool, but it's just like at the end of the day, too, going out and doing something, going out and experiencing life and experiencing the outside world. You kind of equated to how now, if a kid is like staying inside, it's not a punishment because they could go and play on their games or do Fortnite or whatever they want. Like you and I and so many people wanted to go outside, shoot hoops, ride our bikes, do whatever, go for a walk. I think it's going to become more technologically based, that it's going to become more lazy, where we're just going to have everything at the press of our button. It sounds cool, but also at the same time, it's like, okay, like what else is this to do? It's just like we're going to be taken over so much technologically and digitally. It's just going to become such a lazy society.
Yeah, and it's already unfortunately looking like it's heading that way. But again, to your point, like we love to go outside. We loved nature. We loved outdoors. There was nothing like going swimming and then having a ham and cheese sandwich with the Doritos in the sandwich and just having a ball outside, whether it was shooting hoops or going skating, riding bikes, just being outside. But they will never know the dangers of not making it home before that street light comes on.
Exactly. And I mean, I look at it nowadays. I sent you this video, and you and I got a little hot at this, is because that one of those douchebags in the manosphere content creation, Clavicular, was like, so he got made fun of on Saturday Night Live because of his looks max. And he's like, y'all millennials are just soft. And, he used the R word. And I'm like, bro, you're Gen Z. You really want to talk to us millennials and even the generation before you of being soft? Like, you really want to do that? Like, you really want to have this argument of calling millennials soft? Because I can attest for you, and I can say it for myself and all millennials out there. Millennials ain't soft. Millennials are not soft. They would not survive the millennial area, so to speak.
They don't, no, bro. They would not survive it. If they
No.
was to go outside and fall and scrape their knee, end of the world.
Yep. Yep.
End of the world. They don't know about falling, scraping your knee, having to get back up. They don't know about drinking from the water hose. They don't know about, just the rough and tough atmosphere we come from, which why we feel the way we do now in our 30s with the aches and pains in our bones and stuff. God forbid I feel like an old man here at 34, but still, I still go out and get it any way I can, whether it be at the gym or I'm just walking around the neighborhood. But we are definitely not soft. And shout out to End Zone Cast. I got one word to describe that man, and I'm going to spell it out for you: SAWFT, soft.
Soft.
And that's the way it is. Now switching gears into that. That's a perfect segue into this next segment, the wrestling thing. Mike and myself are big wrestling fans. We are both part of the hottest internet YouTube sensation since ever, the Max Wrestling Podcast. The podcast machine here. Y'all know me as Cypher, but Mike is here to talk to you about that. Mike, how'd you get started in the Max Wrestling game?
So when it comes to Max Wrestling, it's so funny. So Kenny Killa, who was host of the Sunday Segway podcast, when I had first started getting into podcasting in 2015, I had touched base with him, and I also did see that Max Wrestling was associated, and he had done Max a few times, and the Max guys had done Kenny's show. So I reached out to Daz about coming on because I like the concept of trivia, and I like the concept of just talking wrestling. I thought that was very cool, a very unique spin on how we discuss and analyze wrestling, and I did my first ever guest appearance on Max in the summer of 2016. And then I came back for a couple more episodes. This is when Max, I believe, was recording on Saturday afternoons, our time, which would be the evening theirs. But it's one of those things, man, where it was so crazy, where I just did a couple guest spots, and then come towards the early stages of 2017, on the 100th episode to be exact, I started my full week of becoming one of the captains on Max Wrestling. So it was just a chance of I liked what I saw, expanding my brand and as well as coming on to Max's brand and expanding everyone's and collaborating, which is a lot of what we're doing now. And I just thought it was a very unique and cool concept. And then 2017, I was off to the races. And then the team was myself, the late great David Gillum Butcher, Dazzy Lee, the Phoenix, and then we were off to the races from that.
And just thinking about the from the Max 100 to now approaching the 600th
Yeah,
episode of Max, right around the corner, actually in less than 2 weeks. It's been a blessing, and you've been part of the game for so long. You, in your own right, have won many championships and accolades. And for the people who don't know, go through them and tell them, like, about what you've accomplished in Max.
sure. So I used to be known as the human wrestling cheat sheet, the walking wrestling encyclopedia, as Dazzy Lee gave me those names. I started mainly, it was just a trivia game on Max, three-time knowledge champion, one of the longest reigns as knowledge champion. It was just from my years of just watching wrestling, watching old school wrestling, being around my dad, and really just having appreciation of the art and the craft and talking about wrestling with good buddies. By the time 2018, 2019 came around, I had started getting into the promo game, really just to like fill a spot. But by 2019, I really started to come into my own, and then I became the promo champion. And then I took a little break for a little while to get myself straight. And when I came back, I won the Max TV title for a short period of time. I also am now the current Max Wrestling Tag Team Champion with my boy Stevie Nicks. So it's been a huge accolades of just being involved in predictions and everything, anything to showcase my wrestling analysis as well as just my overall discussion, the talents and competition. So I've done a lot of great things on Max from interviews. We had Killer Cross on there, AJ Kirsch, Brittany Savage, so many amazing people. I can't even begin to describe it. So I've kind of had dipped my toe and had my hand in a lot of things within Max, but mainly it was just the accomplishments are trivia, promos, and really doing anything to put my best foot forward, so to speak.
And sure did that best foot forward became the most incredible run in Max Wrestling that that's ever seen, next to a lot of the greats that are in Max Wrestling. But also, I want to bring up the fact that this is off record here, but I hear Jonathan Beer saying he's going to be the next longest reigning knowledge champion. Anything you got to say to Jonathan Beveridge?
Well, when it comes to my boy Beer and Jonathan Beveridge, he his first reign lasted 2 minutes and of the knowledge title. So I'm glad at least he's held it longer than 2 minutes. But it's going to be a very much a hard hill to climb. He's got to beat 600, I believe, in 30 plus days. So I look forward to seeing what he does. But I mean, if the Phoenix couldn't do it in that one thing, I'm sure. Let's see if you can do it. I mean, Phoenix got me after many years of an intense rivalry in trivia. So I mean, when it comes to Jonathan Beveridge, I look forward to seeing him go up to the challenge. But there is only one podcast machine, and there is only walking wrestling encyclopedia, and that is yours truly. So I appreciate the overall nod, and I appreciate the overall gumption and the chutzpah to do it. But you got a long road to climb.
Very long road to climb indeed. And never forget Mike Larkin, as long as Mike Larkin's around, as he will see fit, he might come back after it. Maybe.
Never say never.
Never say never. So going back towards the Max Wrestling thing, because you've been part of it since, mostly since day one.
Yep.
Like, is there anything like, specific to you that stood out the most or what made you actually, see the evolution as Max in a whole and be like, wow, I really love where this is going. And I love the fact that, I'm able to take this somewhere.
I think for me too is I mean with what we did during COVID, which was such a horrible time for a lot of people, and it had its ups and downs, mainly downs. But I think the ups of being creative in a space where we can't go outside, we can't do anything, so we added a lot of cinema to our stuff. We all put our best foot forward collectively, including yourself, because that was when you came into the fold. Like seeing a lot of people grow and adapt through COVID, I think was a lot because through tough times, we aim to put on our best foot forward, like I mentioned, and put on great performances and entertain. So I thought that evolution there was so awesome because we were doing something and bringing a lot of positivity to people. And I mean, even 2019, when we really started the King of the Mic tournaments and really highlight people's overall verbal exchanges, I thought that was sweet. And I mean, really, just the 2019 2010 gap there, it didn't have its fair share of issues. Let's be honest, there was some issues, but I think everything that went on from that really got to show us in our growth that through the tough times we were able to survive.
And we will always continue to thrive and survive. And going back to for the people out there that like see what we do and see how it's different and how it's interesting, but just don't know how to get a start or know how to reach out or just want to participate or be involved in it. You got any words for them?
I will say this as someone who is shy myself, and I remember this also kind of equates to what I do with LFC and how this ties in with the Max podcast. Like when we started doing video promos, like I'll be honest with you, I was very shy to show myself on camera, and it was the same thing with LFC. Once we were going to the video product, I'm like, I mean, because it had mostly been audio at the time, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to show my face. But once I bought this camera here and just got everything set up, I became more accustomed and comfortable to it. So I would say this anybody that wants to get into it, come out of your shell. I will say this: it definitely is worth it. Just know that your confidence is there, and you may start out, it may start out a little rocky, but once you keep going with it and keep applying yourself, I think you're definitely going to master your craft and paint your canvas. So I would just say go for it, man, because there's a lot of people that have a lot to say, and I think you need to let your voice be heard.
Exactly. And we love voices being heard. So we're going to go into the LFC aspect now. As you mentioned just a few minutes ago, the LFC podcast, where not only did you break out of your shell, but you have been an announcer at some of these events, just stepping full fledged into the fold. Tell me, how did that feel?
So I thought that was absolutely amazing to have that opportunity. So what Corey's referring to is I had a chance to do two great announcing spots besides what I do with the podcast. So it came about because like I had started with LFC in 2019. I did some interviews for my On the Mike with Mike series, and the owner Sean Donnelly liked what I was doing and really highlighting his brand. And I had a lot of belief in it because I thought it was a different concept, a little bit of MMA, a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of clothing, kind of like the same appeal the LFL had. It's women kicking ass, but also looking good within the process of doing it. So I'd reached out about doing a podcast with them. I came up with the Beauty, Strength, and Dominance name to really highlight women and people as a whole, their inner and external beauty, the strength that they go through with everything, and also the fitness side and the dominance of what they do in the ring and how they dominate each and everything in their lives. So when I got to do the ring announcing spot in 2021, mind you, this is a year. We're still kind of still in some COVID time, so there wasn't a lot of people, but it was a good amount of people, and I was nervous as hell. But I got to tell you, doing it on Halloween, where I wore like my Godfather suit, and I had a nice little suit very much on. I got to meet a lot of great friends, like my boy T Bell, Tommy Bell, Onyx from the Wow Women of Wrestling was there. We had a lot of great people in attendance to be at this. So doing that also at the FSW Arena. And for those that don't know, the Future Stars of Wrestling Arena, Future Stars of Wrestling gave us Brian Cage, LA Knight, Eli Drake, yeah. It also gave us Solo Sokoa. It gave us Zoe Stark and so many great people out of there. And then the second one, that was LFC 36 Booty Camp 4 in 2022. More people were there. I felt a little bit more confident in what I was doing. Mike the Truth Jackson from the UFC was on there, and so many great people were there as judges. So if you've never been to an LFC show, or if you are in the 702 where my girl's at from the front to back, Las Vegas style, definitely worth the go to. But man, it was just such a fun experience. And that crowd is very lively and what they want to see as far as the entertainment goes. So it was very fun. And I'm very grateful that I got the opportunity to do it.
And that sounds like a good time to me because we know what they say. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Yes, sir.
And also, going into the LFC and like all these amazing things that you do. Like you have so much on the table. Like you go to Deeper Heart of Wrestling, you got the S&M podcast, you got Beauty, Strength, and Dumbness with the LFC, and you also got Max from time to time. Like, you know, all these accolades, and you stop and you have time for all of it. And I know for me starting out, like I never thought I would get back into the podcasting game, but trekking through and realizing like this is what I was born to do from the very beginning, despite everything that's happened in my life personally or not, this is what I was born to do. And like I said before, like people have a voice and people need to use that voice more often. So my advice to people is like if you want to start somewhere, just start, here. Just start recording yourself, get comfortable, and you never know, you might strike gold. I've seen a lot of people from my hometown, my home state go on to be successful big time creators on the TikTok aspect of it and and everything else. But for me, and I know Mike will agree when I say this, it's like always put God first before you do anything.
100%. I mean, if it wasn't for God, if it wasn't for my Lord and Savior, I wouldn't be here doing what I'm doing. And as someone who's a believer in faith, I think we're all here to do what we're supposed to do. And I think God has a plan for all of us. And our plan, much like Corey said here, and I co sign everything you said, to be put to able to inspire and encourage through our words and our actions definitely has a lot of merit to it. And I say that to anybody who wants to get into this field. And I think just in general in life, because you never know who you're going to resonate with. This is a game of where you're evoking emotions and eliciting reactions. And I think with what you do, and there's going to be some trials and tribulations, there's going to be some ups and downs. But I think if you really stick to it, you're going to see results. And you never know what opportunity is going to knock at your door.
And when opportunity knocks, you best believe you better answer. But if it's not the right opportunity for you, remember when one door closes, there's always another one opens. That's why us, the men and women of Max, always, it doesn't matter if you're Max, RWT, TSK, especially LFC, the S&M podcast, like anybody, the door is always open. The door will forever be open. And I know I got a lot of people interested in wanting to join Max, not only as participants, but as competitors. It's just finding the time of right and when, and, trying to get everything situated, which it is all about timing at the end of the day.
Agreed, man. Time is of the essence. It really is the main thing. Almost went into LL Cool J and J-Lo. Time is of the essence. Why spend it alone? Love, all my pride is all I have. Yeah. So, but no, yeah, really, time is truly of the essence.
This man has every pop culture reference embedded into his DNA. I told you, this man is the king of pop culture. He is the pop culture prince. Right now, we're gonna hashtag it pop culture prince. This man loves his music. He loves his '90s R&B. He loves his 2000s hip hop.
Yep.
He is invested. He is almost like pretty sure I'm close to when I say this. This man, I'm pretty sure will almost be ready to incite any song at the drop of a dime. At any cookout, at any karaoke spot, you will catch Mike there.
Oh, absolutely. I think you, it's so funny you bring this up. You and I have said this, and I will co sign to this. And if anybody, if we ever get a chance to do it, because we definitely have to do this, if anybody wants to join Corey and I for a 90s 2000 party where strictly it's just 90s 2000s, you can put on some rough ends, you can put on some Ideal, John B, you can put on some Pac, Biggie, whatever. Just give us a good 90s 2000s feel. We'll be there. Put on some music, Soul Child, little friggin' Glenn Lewis, don't you forget it. Jimmy Cozier, she's all I got. Let's go with it. Let's go with it.
And for my 35th birthday, that might be the last era of the like the 90s 2000 there. And I've been thinking so much of this, so y'all gonna hear it here first. It's been a month and a day since I turned 34. My 35th don't come around till 2027 the next year. You know what? It's about time we get back to the old way of doing things. So maybe a 90s 2000 party is in the works. It's gonna take planning. It's definitely gonna take some money. It's definitely gonna take some time consuming and everything else, excuse me. But you know what? It's about time we get back to the fun days. We're not gonna have any phones out. I mean, we might have phones
We
out.
might have out.
We might have the phones out just to record, be like, dang, this is what our parties used to be like, and now we're gonna bring it back next year. So we'll see what happens for next year. Mike Larkin definitely come on down to the NC to the party next year. We're gonna see where that goes. I'm gonna try to see if that's something that I can get started, get off my feet. But 90s
You know what?
2000 party, we're in there. We're gonna have food, fun, no drama. Of course, I'm gonna have to have the glow sticks.
Yep.
I had to
You
have
know what's
glow sticks,
you
and
know
it's
what's
not
so
just
funny?
and not for rave purposes, but
Yes,
just
I feel you.
green for single, yellow for taken, red for married, and blue for not looking. So everybody has a fair chance to know, like, hey, this is
I
the only
feel
way
you.
to avoid dramas. Love, put on a glow stick and let them know what you're rocking.
It's so funny because I have to add to your point as I'm laughing as you're saying that because you're taking me back. It's so funny. Like there was a video on Instagram. It was the commercial for like Now 3. Like first of all, now that's what I call music. One of the greatest sets ever. I can't believe we're over to like 100 plus now, which is crazy. But they had Now 3. One of the songs on it like was Ideal, like Ideal, whatever you want to do, what. But the song that they had on there was Get Gone, one of the original like ballads that they had, and somebody wrote on that. I ever never heard who Ideal even was. I'm like, first of all, y'all have not lived if you've not heard Ideal, Rough Ends, or any of those groups. I kept Coffee Brown with After Party. Like y'all have not lived if you've not heard those groups because it was a short period of time, but damn it, it was good.
Yeah, and people like boy bands don't exist anymore. Of course they do. They
Yeah,
just
they still.
they just go by different genres now,
Yep,
different names. Like boy bands still exist. I mean, we all know about we all know about boy bands. I do. I mean,
yep.
In Sync, O
Backstreet
Town,
Boys,
Backstreet
98 Degrees.
Boys, 98 Degrees. Anybody else I'm missing? I know a lot of people gonna comment down below and tell me, but
I mean, we had so many during that 15 minutes of time. We had No Authority, who was signed to MJJ Records at the time. Like they had "Can I Get Your Number, Baby? Hit Me with the Seven Digits" and "What I Want to Do." Like that was short lived, but I mean, you can even incorporate Soul Decision in there. There was a lot. There was a lot. Like Five from the UK, "Baby When the Lights Go Out." Like we'll be here all day.
yeah, we'll be here all day. S Club 7. Nobody remembers S Club 7.
S Club 7, dude. There is a there is a playlist of Miami 7 S Club 7 in Miami that used to air on like ABC Family back in the day. Somebody put it on YouTube. Still holds up to this day. Still holds up to this day.
Yeah, I mean, I know, like, I was in a TikTok live and there was a person that I know and she was playing S Club 7. And I said, is that S Club 7? She's like, oh, and she was she's from Australia. She's an Aussie. She's like, Jess, how do you know about them? I was like, I'm cultured, baby. I know
Yeah,
S Club 7. I've been around the block.
bro. I still have both of their albums. I have the first. I have Never Had a Dream Come True. The sophomore album, S Club Party, Bring It All Back Now, Two in a Million. Let's go. Mm.
Dude, we can go and talk about all the throwbacks all day, every day, but it'll be a 5 day show and it'll probably be longer than that. But we got into a lot of interesting stuff and the pop culture thing from wrestling to Mike Larkin's personal life and how he started and where he is at today. The growth is always there. Room for improvement's always there, but starting out from where you were to how you are now is the biggest blessing. And you know, y'all you just got to get out there and do it. Even when you don't feel like you have the confidence, remember, If I'm on here doing this with my problems, you can do it too.
Damn straight. Absolutely 100%.
100%. And, you know, this man threw me back to the now that's what I call music. And I was like, damn.
Dude, now too, I still bump New Radicals. You get what you give. Like, there's a lot of great songs on that. You know, the Funk Show, brother. Check it out now. And I like to praise you like I should. Fat Boy Slim. Let's go. Oh,
Dude, some of these video games had the best tracks ever.
oh yeah.
I find myself on TikTok and they'd be like, yeah, back in the day, which soundtrack was better? Uh, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 or True Crime Streets of New York? And I'm like, is that even, that's two different games, but they both had great soundtracks. Like, video games back in the day had awesome music.
One of my favorites. I have, like I mentioned, NBA Ballers Phenom earlier. So it's a 2 disc set. So you get to play the video game, and they had the soundtrack. Like Nestle was on there. It's the Blacktop, and Rascal, and all these great rappers ask around. They know me as a baller. Like that soundtrack. If you've not heard NBA Ballers Phenom, is phenomenal. Like it's a really good soundtrack.
Yeah, and the And One game they came out with.
Yes, that's right. Oh, good
Oh
times. Def Jam.
no, you are
Oh
my
no.
control. I mean, yo, that like so many games from that song to the Rottweiler to make them say,
Ugh, nah, nah, nah. Like Def Jam Vendetta was another one where you can play as rappers in like a wrestling video game, like Method Man. That Ghostface Killer on there. Oh,
If they ever come out with another Def Jam in this era, I don't know who y'all would have on it, but please don't put no people on it that don't deserve to be there. Is all I ask.
they probably would. Like nobody can beat the Snoop Dogs or the Dub C's who were in those games in Def Jam Fight for New York and Def Jam Vendetta. Like we had such a timeless list of greats in that. Like it's going to be so hard to now put a lot of the rappers in there that are like SoundCloud rappers, but also nowadays it's just like they don't have the same appeal as what we had with those back in the day who were in that game, like Method Man, Redman, the whole nine.
I mean, if you wanted to make it like, if you wanted to remake Def Jam for 2026 or 7 per se, along with the other fighting games like Mortal Kombat, Tekken, Street Fighter, and etc. etc. The women's roster would probably be a lot better than the men's roster.
Yeah,
Could you imagine having Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, uh, Trina, Eve, Imagine
yep.
having like Glorilla. I know Glorilla, Sexy Red, Sweetie, Lotto. Uh, just to name a couple of them. The women's roster
Kaya,
would be tougher than the men's roster.
you could put Kaya on there, my neck, my back, the whole nine with Kaya back in the day. Yep.
Yeah, just like mix it up. Mix it up. The old versus the new.
Yeah, it's one of those things too. I mean, with the men would be harder, but I think with the women too, and like you mentioned, the sexy reds in general and the Trina, you got Little Kim in there. You could put Little Mo in there. You could put like a lot of great people in there that have that influx, especially with the girls nowadays. Like I'll tell you right now, when you and I talked about this, like you mentioned Trina, when she was on AEW with Jade Cargill, I popped. Like I'm not gonna lie, like my 2004 brain went right back to that genre.
Dude, I'm telling you, Def Jam, if you're listening, we'll take our checks by Cash App or anything.
Exactly.
If you're gonna make a new one, you gotta put the old and the new in there and make it something worthwhile because like I said, I kind of feel like the women's side would be easier to fill than the men's side because yeah, you have your Kendrick Lamar's, your J. Cole's, your Drake's, your Little Wayne's, your
Trey songs.
Trey Songs, your Chris Brown. I mean, I guess the Migos.
You
I
can put
guess
Lloyd in there too. Lloyd had that. Lloyd works.
Floyd.
Lloyd works.
Like,
Yeah.
well, I mean, there's plenty of people to choose from. Just don't put anybody that don't deserve to be there. Okay, especially if
Yep.
they're infamous on some list. Okay, we're not going to talk
Mm,
about it here, but if you know, you know.
yep.
If you know, you know. But, ladies and gentlemen, I think with a show like this, it is always good and always a pleasure to have somebody like Mike and like a lot of other guests that have been on the show here to just make the Mouth of the South podcast better and better each day. We got, I want to say, 2 more episodes. two more episodes in before I say, season one is over. I want two more episodes, and then we'll come back for season two probably later this year. But two more slots left before season one ends, and taking a little bit of break so I can focus more mainly on some interesting things that I'm working on in Max Wrestling, which I can't talk about, but everybody loves a good surprise. But Mike Larkin, thank you for joining us here on the Mouth of the South podcast here in the 828. If you want to, man, just go through the links, go through the list where we can find you, where people can add you at, where they can listen to you the whole 10 yards.
Well, first and foremost, you're very welcome, and thank you because I always love interacting with you on camera, off camera, and it's really been a pleasure to be a part of your show. We'll even start with Max first. So we got the Great Promo Bash coming in 2 weeks. I will be taking on Chris Reed in a promo exhibition, and the only thing I can really say about Chris Reed right now, if you really look at the young man, he looks like he works at the dispensary, which is very fitting because anytime you want to watch his promos, you might just want to get high first before you do that Afro Man style. So, with that being said, you can check us out, Max Wrestling on YouTube channel and Max Wrestling UK on Twitter. You could also check me out, SM Show Owner MCL92 on the Twitter machine. You can check me out, Larkin underscore 92 or M Larkin MV on the Instagram front. StephenMikeShow.com and LFCfights.com for all your audio and video needs. And if you want to subscribe to the YouTube, it is S&M Network Shows. Corey said it beautifully at the beginning of the show. We have the Stephen Mike Show with myself and Stevie Nicks. We have Deep Into the Heart of Wrestling with Robert Davis and Nicola McDonald. On the Mic with Mike, we have some pop culture history. We also have the RWT podcast of Paul Morales and Daniel Crimmins, and so much more in store. So please subscribe to S&M Network Shows. Has all the links I mentioned in the description, and go out and follow that, as well as one of the new projects I'm on, the Takedown podcast with my co-host Roy Costin, also on that YouTube channel. And if you want to hear the audio version, it is wfja.com/podcast. That is wfja.com/podcast. And thank you so much, Corey. Are you able to breathe over there? I saw you having a little tough time with it. You laughing? You letting you get any jollies on? What's up, man? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. It's just the fact that he's like this Afro man in the dispensary. I'm like, I can just imagine it now, and I'm just like, I can't say shit because that's hilarious as shit. Because I'm sitting here like, damn it, Chris, actually, damn it, killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. Also,
Killing me.
be sure to check us out in another week after the Great Promo Bash. We will also be there for Promo Slam, our Max 2 night event, July 28th and July 30th, which I will be facing Robert Davis, and something special. And, you know, he's responded to me and he said she wants a shadow dance. So I'm gonna be like Drake and I'm gonna hit my one dance. New title coming to my hands. So yeah, check that out. Great promo bash coming to you July 23rd. Promo slam July 28th, July 30th. Don't miss the hottest party on the summer on YouTube at Max Wrestling Podcast, as well as the beautifully done website of maxwrestlingnet.weebly.com. And don't worry, all these links and stuff will be below. I will be sure that you will get everything you need to follow Max, to follow Mike, to follow the TSK All MF and Day. Shout out to JM Beer 434. Get every link you can because you don't want to miss what we got in store. And baby, we're only going to get bigger and better from here. So make sure you stay tuned. We got two more episodes before I wrap up season one of the Mouth of the South podcast. And then we're going to come back for season two later this year or something. We'll see what happens. But hey, for now, thank you for tuning in. From me, Mike Larkin, stay blessed, stay healthy. Remember, put God first in everything you do, and always and forevermore remember to take it to the max.
God bless y'all.
God bless y'all. Y'all have a good night, and we will see you for episode 9. So, we are out. Any last words before we go ahead and cut this off?
Thank you all for supporting all that we do. And just thank you for those who have been supporting yours truly since day one. I cannot wait to see where this journey continues to take me. There is a lot in the works, which I can't say yet, but please, all I can say really, Corey, is stay tuned because there's a lot of cool stuff coming. And I'm happy to share that with everybody, including you. So thank you all so much.
Yeah. And also, before I close out, remember, I'm going to be on his pop culture part.
Yes.
Pop Culture Part 3. Me and Mike, that'll come out sometime soon. I don't know. I don't know. We'll get together. We'll discuss it, but we're not going to discuss it here because it's the end of the show. So I will see y'all for After Max this Thursday on Max. And yeah, we're out of here. Signing off.